Section 2, case study based questions are compulsory. Attempt any 4 subparts of each question. Each subpart carries 1 mark. Total you will have 4 case study questions, and in each case study questions you will have total 5 questions subpart. So, you have to attempt any 4 in that. Subpart question 1, refer to top view. So, this figure is the top view. Find the midpoint of the segment joining the points J 6, 17. So, this point is given J as 6, 17. Now, I 9, 16. So, this is 9, 16. Now, using midpoint formula, so the midpoint formula is nothing but x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2. So, here 6 plus 9, 15 by 2, 16 plus 17 is 33 by 2. So, option C. Now, next question, again we have to refer to top view only. The distance of the, this is second one, subpart. The distance of the point P from the y axis. Now, you take this I and J as the reference point what they have given to find out the other points. Now, the point P, let us locate the point P. Afterwards, you can find its distance from the y axis. So, we should locate this point. Now, here P is there. So, we will try to locate what will be the coordinates, or you can count and see also here. Now, the distance of the point P from the y axis. So, any point, its distance from the y axis is its x coordinate. So, can we find out the x coordinate of P? So, now suppose if I mark this is 1, this is 2, scale is each one is 1 centimeter is equal to 1 unit. So, now the P point is nothing but 4, do you want to find out its y coordinate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, but we need its distance from the y axis. So, distance of any point from the y axis nothing but its x coordinate. You can count also from this 1, 2, 3, 4. So, the distance of the point P from the x axis is nothing but 4. Now, third subpart, refer to front view. So, this figure is the front view. The question is the distance between the points A and S. First, let us locate the point A. So, A on the x axis the point is here 1. So, it is 1, shall we count what will be its y coordinate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, coordinates of A are 1, 8 and S. So, you can see S y coordinate is, because it is a line parallel to x axis. So, its y coordinate is same as A y coordinate. So, its y coordinate is 8, and shall we check what is its x coordinate? Here 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So, the coordinates of S are 17, 8. Now, either you can count in between how much its distance is there, or you can easily say the distance formula if you will use also, we need distance between A and S. Now, this 8 will root over x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square if you will use also. 8 minus 8 will become 0, it is nothing but root over 17 minus 1 whole square, which is root over 16 square, which is 16. Or you can count also the distance between A and S, 1, 2, 3, 4, you will count, you will get only 16. So, the distance between the points A and S is nothing but 16. Now, next one, refer to front view only. Find the coordinates of the point which divides the line segment joining the points A and B in the ratio 1:3. So, already A point we located. Let us locate the coordinates of B. So, B coordinates are nothing but, this is a point 5 on x axis. So, 5, 10. Now, the question is find the coordinates of the point which divides the line segment joining the points A and B in the ratio 1:3 internally. So, internally formula mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n, my2 plus ny1 by m plus n. So now here m is to n is 1 is to 3 ratio. So you need this point x1 y1 x2 y2. So 5 ones are 5 plus 3 ones are 3. 8 divided by 3 plus 1 4. So 8 by 4 2 comma my2. So 10 plus 3 into 8. So 24 plus 10 34 by 4. So 34 by 4, let us see which will satisfy here. 2 x coordinate 2 is here, it is there, B, option B and option D. 34 by 4 will give only. So 34 by 4 is nothing but 8.5. So 2.0 comma 8.5 is the answer. Now fifth subpart, refer to front view only. Even this is also we have to refer front view. If a point x comma y is equidistant from the points q 9 comma 8, so this is q, and s 17 comma 8. So there is a point which is equidistant from these 2 points. So we do not know about the point, that point is given here as x comma y. Consider the point as suppose t. So according to the given condition here, your qt must be equal to st. So we have to use distance formula. So now I can square it also, qt distance is equal to st distance, or I can say qt square is equal to st square, so that in the distance formula we can remove the square root. So the formula x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square now, 9 minus x whole square. So I am not keeping square root because qt square I am using, plus x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, 8 minus y whole square, which is equals to now st square, 17 minus x whole square plus 8 minus y whole square. Now expand a minus b whole square formula, here also a minus b whole square formula, even right hand side. So what happens, your x square term, y square term will get cancelled. Okay, one step I can do. 9 square is 81 x square, now minus 18x plus 64 plus y square minus 16y. This is our left hand side. I used a minus b whole square formula, 17 square 289 minus 17 2s are 34x plus x square plus 64, here y square, then minus 16y. So now obviously your x square terms and y square term will get cancelled both left hand side and right hand side. So you will get only linear equation. So on simplification you can simplify this, bring x terms together, y terms together and constant terms all together. So when you simplify, you will get your answer as x minus 13 is equal to 0, option B. Question number 18, case study based 2, scale factor and similarity scale factor. A scale drawing of an object is of the same shape as the object but of a different size. The scale of a drawing is a comparison of the length used on a drawing to the length it represents. The value of scale is written as a ratio. Similar figures you can see, the ratio of two corresponding sides in similar figures is called the scale factor. So what we can define scale factor? Scale factor is equal to length in image divided by corresponding length in object. If one shape can become another using resizing, then the shapes are similar. So you can see the three pictures. Now first one is, it is rotation or turn, second one is reflection or flip, and third one translation or slide. So we can say two shapes are similar when one become the other after resize or flip or slide or turn. Now based on this, you should solve the questions given in this case study. Now subpart question number 1. A model of a boat is made on the scale 1:4. Now the model is 120 centimeter long. The full size of the boat has a width of 60 centimeter. What is the width of the scale model? Now see, what does it means 1:4? suppose the model length is 120 centimeter long means while drawing its image, we will take it as that is 4 parts of the image. So, 120 divided by 4 we will do. So, we will scale factor we will get it as nothing but 30 centimeter we will draw the image length. But the question is now the next boat has width is 60 centimeter. Now, dividing the width by 4, 15 centimeter is its scale model. So, now while drawing this boat model, we will take the scale factor as 1:4 ratio means its length we will consider as 120 divided by 4 which is 30 centimeter and its width is 60 divided by 4 which is 15 centimeters. Now, the question is what is the width of the scale model? So, the width of the scale model is nothing but 15 centimeters which is option C. Now, next question, what will affect the similarity of any two polygons? Now, just now we discussed about the two shapes are similar when one can become the other after a resize, flip, slide or turn. Now, these three things which will not affect the similarity, but the question is here which will affect. Okay, let us see the options. If they are flipped horizontally, so we learnt now if they are flipped they will not get affected. So, option A is ruled out. Option B, they are dilated by a scale factor. So, that means they are resized. So, resized also will not change the similarity. Now, they are translated down, even translation also will not change. Now, the fourth option, they are not the mirror image of one another. Yes, they should not be the mirror image of one another. If they are not the mirror image of one another, then which will affect the similarity of the two polygons. So, option D. Now, third one, if two similar triangles have a scale factor of A is to B, which statement regarding the two triangle is true? Now, I have taken for example two similar triangles which are right angle triangle. So, you can see here these are the two similar triangles and this angle is right angle here, and I have drawn the diagram, the measurement as Pythagoras triplets. This one is taken as 3, 4, 5 and here this is 6, 8, 10. So, that this satisfies the scale factor, like the scale factor for this now A is to B is 1:2. Suppose that is PQR, triangle PQR is to area triangle its sides I can say triangle ABC. So, the sides are in the ratio 1:2, right. So, the A is to B scale factor I have taken as 1:2. Now, let us go for the questions. The ratio of their perimeters is 3A is to B. So, what is the perimeter of triangle PQR here? 5 plus 3, 8 plus 4, 12 is 2. Let me add the perimeter here, 24. So, the ratio of their perimeter is also coming as 1:2 only. It is A is to B, but the option is given as 3A is to B. So, first option is ruled out. Now, their altitudes have a ratio A is to B. So, you know very well in a right angle triangle the altitude is nothing but this height itself, one of its leg perpendicular this one. This itself is an altitude. So, here the altitude length is 8, here PQ altitude length is 4. So, the ratio of their altitudes is 4:8 which is 1:2. So, 1:2 is again our A is to B, right. So, here the option is their altitudes have a ratio A is to B which is the correct option. Fourth question, the length of a shadow of a stick 5 meter long is 2 meter. At the same time, the shadow of a tree 12.5 meter high is how much? Now, you can see the diagram. Now, this is the stick. According to the question, the length of a shadow of a stick of 5 meter. The length of the stick length is 5 meter. Its shadow is 2 meters. At the same time, the shadow of a tree of length. Now, this is tree. Its length is given as 12.5 meters. Same time, the shadow of a tree 12.5 meters high. So, how much this distance will be is the question. So, when you observe these two diagrams, you can easily say these two triangles are nothing but similar triangles. Yes. sorry, stick will be small, compare the tree here according to the proportion. So, suppose if I mark this one as A, B, C, this triangle, now this is D, E, F. So, your question is, this is given as 12.5 and this is X, BC is the question, and this is given as 5 meters and here 2. So, similarity ratio for these two triangles are similar. So, you can write AB by BC is equal to DE by EF. So, substituting the values, 12.5 divided by X is equals to 5 by 2. So, on simplification what you will get? You will get X is, okay, let me do 5X is nothing but 25, X is equals to 5. So, 5 meters. Option is there, option D. Fifth question. Below you see a student's mathematical model of a farmhouse roof with measurements. The attic floor ABCD in the model is a square. The beam that support the roof are the edges of a rectangular prism. So, rectangular prism, it is nothing but EFGH KLMN. So, if you notice the diagram, you can see it is a square base and on each edge of the square a triangle is there, right? Now, E is the middle of the edge AT, concentrate on the diagram. F is the middle of BT. G is the point middle of CT. H is middle of DT. And all the edges of the pyramid in the model have length 12 meters. Now, the question is, what is the length of EF, where EF is one of the horizontal edges of the block? Now, look at the diagram. So, this is the base. ABCD is the base, that is square. On each of its edge, you are having a triangle. So, that is why it is a rectangular prism. Now, each of these are midpoints. A, B, T, consider only the, look at the triangle A, B, T. So, this is the triangle which we are going to consider. Now, each edge is given as 12 meters. Even this is 12 meters, this is 12 meters, all the edges are 12 meters. So, now this is 12 meters. If you consider only triangle ABT and EF for the midpoints. So, by midpoint theorem, the line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of triangle excuse me, is half of its third side. So, your EF length is equals to half of AB, which is half of 12 is nothing but 6 meters. So, option C. Problem number 19, case study based 3. Applications of parabolas, highway overpasses, underpasses. A highway underpass is parabolic in shape. So, you can see the diagram. So, what is parabola? A parabola is the graph that results from P of x is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. You know very well ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 represent quadratic equation in one variable, right? And graphical representation of parabola is nothing, graphical representation of quadratic equation is nothing but a parabola. So, now here it is given in the reverse form. Parabola is the graph that results from P of x is equals to ax square plus bx plus c. Parabolas are symmetric about a vertical line known as the axis of symmetry. So, you can see the vertical line in the diagram, that is known as axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry runs through the maximum or minimum point of the parabola, which is called the vertex. Let us solve the problems based on this case study. First question in third case study based problem. If the highway overpass is represented by x square minus 2x minus 8. So, what is this? Quadratic polynomial. Then its zeros are. So, how to find zeros of the quadratic polynomial? We have to equate this to 0. So, equating x square minus 2x minus 8 is equal to 0. Then we have to find out the values of x for which the polynomial is becoming 0, right? So, we can do it by factorization method, splitting of middle term. So, the factors are nothing but 4 2s are 8, 4 and minus 2. So, it is nothing but here negative sign is there. So, it is x minus 4 of x plus 2 is equal to 0. The zeros are nothing but plus 4 comma minus 2. So, plus 4 comma minus 2 option B. Question number 2, the high wave overpass is represented graphically. So, which one we learnt now? Zeros of a polynomial can be expressed graphically. Number of zeros of polynomial is equal to number of points where the graph of the polynomial intersect x axis or intersect y axis or intersect y axis or x axis or none of the above. Yes, it is nothing but the number of zeros of polynomial is equal to number of points where the graph of the polynomial intersect x axis. If you want, you can take one simple example as linear equation, and you can find the linear equation 0 of that equation, 0 of the polynomial, and you can see the point where it cuts the x axis is nothing but 0 of that linear polynomial. So, number of zeros of polynomial is equal to number of points where the graph of the polynomial intersect x axis. Question number 3, graph of a quadratic polynomial is a straight line, circle, parabola or ellipse. It is nothing but parabola. It is given in the question itself. Next question, the representation of highway underpass whose one zero is 6 and sum of the zeros is 0, then which one is the required quadratic polynomial is the question. So, suppose this 1 0 you consider as alpha. So, alpha is equal to 6 and sum of the zeros is given 0. So, alpha plus beta is equal to 0 given. Alpha is 6. So, which implies beta is equals to minus 6. So, now you have two zeros. Can you frame a quadratic polynomial? X square minus sum of the zeros into x plus product of the zeros, that is x square minus sum of the zeros. 6 minus 6, 0. So, sum of the zeros already given also it is 0. So, there is no x term plus product of the zeros, 6 into minus 6 minus 36. So, the required quadratic polynomial is x square minus 36, option B. Now, the number of zeros that polynomial f of x is equals to x minus 2 whole square plus 4 can have. The number of zeros for the quadratic polynomial is nothing but roots of the quadratic equation, and you know very well how to find nature of the roots of the quadratic equation. You have to find out the discriminant. If discriminant is equal to 0, there is only one equal roots are there, right? Only one coincident and equal root. If the discriminant is greater than 0, then we will say the quadratic equation is having distinct and real roots. If discriminant is less than 0, the quadratic equation is not having roots, we will say. If the quadratic equation is not having roots, means it is not, quadratic polynomial is not having 0. So, here the question is number of the polynomial can have how many zeros it will have is the question. Now, you have to check the discriminant. If you get the discriminant is greater than 0, the given quadratic polynomial will have two zeros. If the discriminant is less than 0, the quadratic polynomial is not having any zeros, that is 0 zeros it is having. If it is equal to 0, the quadratic polynomial is having 1 0. So, let us find out the discriminant of the quadratic equation. This is, we can write this given quadratic polynomial as quadratic equation as x square minus 4x plus 4 is plus 8 is equal to 0. So, this is the quadratic equation of the given quadratic polynomial. Now, let us find b square minus 4ac, which is discriminant. So, b square is 16 minus 4 into a, 4 into 1 into c, 4 8s are 32. So, 16 minus 32, which is minus 16, which is less than 0. When the discriminant is less than 0, the given quadratic equation is not having real roots. So, that means the given quadratic polynomial is not having any zeros. So, the number of zeros for the given polynomial is 0. Question number 20, case study based 4, 100-meter race. A stopwatch was used to find the time that it took a group of students to run 100 meter. Now see, what does the tabular column represent? Time in seconds, number of students. 0 to 20 seconds, number of students 8. That means in the 100-meter running race, 8 students was able to complete it in between 0 to 20 seconds, and 10 students were completing it between 20 to 40 seconds. 13 students completed in between 40 to 60 seconds, and 6 students between 60 to 80 seconds, 3 children 80 to 100 seconds. Now, first question, estimate the mean time taken by a student to finish the race. So, how to find the mean? Which method we can use here? The best method to use here is the direct method. So, for direct method, the first is the class interval column. So, that is given as 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, 80 to 100. So, we have to find out xi. So, formula to find the mean using direct method, sigma fi xi by sigma fi. So, we need the mid value. So, mid value is 0 plus 20 by 2, which is nothing but 10. So, the class interval here 20 plus 40, 60 by 2, which is nothing but 30. So, the class interval width is 10. So, here 10, 30, 50, 70, 90. Now, frequencies are given as number of students is nothing but frequency 8, 10, 8, 10, 13, 6, 3. Now, next column we will do xi fi. So, product of these two columns, right? Each element we have to multiply in these two columns. Okay? So, we will get 80, 300, 13 5s are 65, so 650, here 0 is there, 7 6 are 42, 420 and 9 3s are 27, 270. So, the total is 1720 and sigma fi value is 40. So, mean is nothing but mean is equals to sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. So, here sigma fi xi is 1720 divided by 40. So, when we divide this, we will get 43. So, option C is the correct answer. Question number 2 in 4th case study. What will be the upper limit of the modal class? So, first we have to select the modal class. How we will select the modal class? Modal class is nothing but where the frequency is highest. Now, where is the frequency? This is frequency for you. So, where the frequency is highest, 13 is the highest number. So, this is our modal class. So, this is the modal class, and what for this modal class, what is the upper limit? Upper limit is 60. So, option 60. Next, the construction of cumulative frequency table is useful in determining the mean or median or mode or all of the above. It is useful in finding the median. Now, question number 4, the sum of the lower limits of the median class and modal class. So, already we found the modal class. So, you know modal class is this one 40 to 60. So, in that lower limit is already 40 is there. But the question is sum of the lower limits of median class and modal class. So, we have to find out now median class. So, what is the procedure to find out the median class? To find the median class, first we have to find the cumulative frequency. So, how to find cumulative frequency? This is class interval 0 to 20, this frequency is 80. So, cumulative frequency meaning here for 0 to 20 seconds was finished by 8 students. Now, 0 to 40 seconds we are accumulating it, finished by within 40 seconds how many children finished means we will add both these things 10 plus 8 18. Now, within 60 seconds how many children finished? These 3 should be added. So, it is nothing but 8 plus 3, sorry, it is nothing but 31. Now 60 to 80, that means 0 to 80. Within 80 seconds, how many students completed? Means it is nothing but 37. And within 100 seconds, how many of them completed? 40. So this is the meaning of cumulative frequency. Now to select the median class, we should find out first of all n by 2. So your n value is here, total in frequency 40. So 40 by 2. That means if it is a ungrouped data frequency, that is if it is a group data, this is the procedure. So general meaning for the median is after arranging the given data in the ascending or descending order, the middle value. Now for the grouped data, the value, finding the middle value is this is the procedure. So first 40 by 2, 20. Where this 20 lies, we should find out in the cumulative frequency. So that will be between this 18 to 31. So this is our, after finding that, you should mark this one as our median class. Right? The frequency 20 will lie in this place, that is up to 31, 18 to 31 is here. So it is between 18 to 31, so in this class is referred as, this class is referred as median class. Now lower limit of the median class again 40, already lower limit of the module class is 40. So 40 plus 40, sum of the lower limits question, answer is 80, option C. Now next question. How many students finish the race within 1 minute? So 60 seconds is equal to 1 minute. So within 1 minute, how many means you should add this, these children, 8 children finished within 20 seconds and 20 to 40 seconds gap is 10 children. Now 40 to 60 seconds gap is finished by 13 children. So if I add all these three, we will get the answer for the question, the number of students who finish the race within 1 minute. So which is nothing but 18 plus 13, the answer is 31. Where is the option 31? Option C.